China's ambassador to London went on the BBC and got asked to explain footage that has gone viral on the internet of Chinese soldiers apparently leading away Muslim Uyghur prisoners who are blindfolded and tied up. Some of the up to 1 million Uyghurs that China is accused of keeping in so-called re-education camps. See if the ambassador's explanation passes your laugh test, if we can laugh in the face of such tyranny.
Let's look at some very disturbing drone footage that's been widely shared around the world. This is almost certainly over northern China, over Xinjiang. Can you tell us what is happening here?
I cannot see.
Can I ask you why people are kneeling, blindfolded and shaven and being led to trains in modern China? What is going on there?
I do not know where you get this videotape. You know, sometimes you have a transfer of prisons and prisoners, you know, in any country.
But just what is happening here, Ambassador?
I do not know where did you get this video clip. People say, you know, we impose, we have ethnic cleansing, but the population has doubled in 40 years.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but according to your own local government statistics, the population growth in Uyghur jurisdictions in that area has fallen by 84% between 2015 and 2018. 84%.
That's not right.
Despite things like that, the influence of the Chinese dictatorship keeps growing. The latest example: this dictatorship was last April voted onto a seat on the consultative group of the United Nations Human Rights Council, of all bodies. And last week, it chaired a meeting that appointed the UN's new spokesman on free speech. She is Irene Khan, who used to be the head of Amnesty International, so you might assume, if you didn't actually follow her career at all, that she was strong on free speech. And you'd be wondering, why would China have backed her? Good question. Joining me is Hillel Neuer, head of the Geneva-based lobby group UN Watch, which keeps an appropriately sceptical eye on the United Nations. Hillel, great to catch up with you again. Is Irene Khan the free speech champion that the world needs now at the UN?
Andrew, I don't think she is. Actually, Irene Khan has stated that civil rights and political liberties are not her priority. Her priority is fighting poverty. Indeed, the title of her 2009 book is about poverty as a human rights violation. In fact, Irene Khan is the one who, in the decade approximately that she ran UN Watch, that she ran Amnesty from 2001 to 2009, she turned Amnesty International from a group that was focused correctly, in my opinion, on prisoners of conscience, those who are in prison, locked up for what they said or what they believe, into an organization that's fighting poverty. She said that instead of prisoners of conscience, we need to fight for prisoners of poverty. So she has said that freedom of speech is not worth that much for people who are, you know, suffering poverty. So it's really not her focus. And I think she's someone who played a key role in damaging what was once a great organization, Amnesty International.
Well, of course, when you say that, then you can praise China for what it's done to lift people out of poverty, which it has done, and then turn a blind eye to what it's done, the tyranny that it exercises on its people. So why did China pick her?
Well, we don't know what exactly the thinking was of China, which, as you said, chaired the process, a panel of only 5 countries. China was the chair that nominated Irene Khan. And what we do know is that for the past few years, she's been head of a group called the International Development Law Organization, IDLO, in which capacity Irene Khan visited China numerous times, giving speeches as recently as 2 years ago, where she showered praise on the Chinese regime for its Belt and Road Initiative, which is a $1 trillion scheme, a network of infrastructure around the world, but primarily in Central Asia, which is one of the reasons you just showed, Andrew, this persecution of the Muslim Uyghurs in Xinjiang. And actually, the Belt and Road Initiative is considered one of the factors that is fueling the persecution of the Uyghurs, because it's at the heart of the infrastructure network in Central Asia, is the region where the Uyghurs live, and China wants to move them away so it can promote its infrastructure scheme. And Irene Khan has showered praise on what she said is China's contribution to global sustainable development. And if you go on Irene Khan's Twitter account, you will find only praise for the Chinese regime, which is rather strange for someone who's supposed to be a world champion of human rights.
That's just extraordinary. Now, look, the Human Rights Council of the United Nations is already a farce. I mean, it's including representatives from Saudi Arabia, Cuba, Somalia, among other human rights abusers. Now you've reported that Russia's strongman Vladimir Putin is trying to get even Russia elected to it. Will he succeed? And what would that say about this useless, sorry, now I'm editorializing, this useless body?
Well, history shows that when Russia runs for office at the Human Rights Council, in almost every case, they win. They lost only once, and that required a massive campaign on behalf of other countries. I'm not seeing the campaign happening so far. I'm not seeing any EU countries. No one has spoken out against Putin's candidacy for the Human Rights Council, other than our group, UN Watch. And as you said, Andrew, the council is full of dictators right now. You have Venezuela, you have Pakistan, you have Mauritania, which has slavery. These are members of the Human Rights Council, and there's every reason to fear that Russia will be elected in October.
Hillel, every time I talk to you, I get depressed, not by you personally, but the news you bring of the United Nations. I don't think enough people realise what a menace it is to the sort of values that here in Australia we think we stand for.